what you should do when you start a bulk. Bulking should not be a short-term thing. If you are only going to bulk for a couple of weeks or a couple of months, you will not get anywhere. You will not gain any muscle. You will fuck up. It's as simple as that. If you want to learn how to master your training and learn how to really give you the best chance to grow some muscle, click the link in the description and you'll have a YouTube video sent to you telling you exactly how to train with a follow-along chest session that I've made exactly for you. But before you do that, you should watch the rest of this. Bulking isn't for the faint of heart. You should be doing it for a prolonged period of time. And I mean absolute minimum, if you're assisted, 6 months. If you're natural, minimum 9 months. It really does take that amount of time to bring a different look to your body. And you have to be meticulous with it. It's not just a case of eat big to get big. In order for you to eat big, you have to be big already to warrant the high amount of calories that you would need in order to grow muscle. Because you have to be in a calorie surplus to grow muscle. Not a huge calorie surplus. You hear these people, like Sam Sulek, for example, who will just eat shit whilst bulking to put on muscle. It does work, but you're not going to want to be that fat for that long. You want to minimize the amount of body fat you put on during your bulk, so when you do cut, you don't have to diet as hard or for as long. It really is a case of patience, and think of it as a marathon, not a sprint. So how do we do that? With my clients, when we are bulking, we look to gain 0.25 to 0.5 kilos a week on the scales. Now, at first, coming out of a diet phase, going into a maintenance, and then going into a surplus, scale weight's gonna be a little bit all over the place. That's just normal. The body needs time to adjust. But once we're in a settled groove, that's the magic numbers we're looking for. Anything less than that, the food has to go up. Anything more than that, which isn't really the case, anything more than that, you might have to step up some cardio and steps until things level out. And then we reduce the output, keep the food the same until that starts to level out. But that is a very rare case. The only time the scale weight really jumps up is when you do start back on cycle. Again, if you are resisted. The water weight accumulated in your body that's pushing through the muscles effectively makes you gain scale weight without gaining body fat for a short term, but then your body gets used to it, then the body levels out, and then we still look for 0.25 to 0.5 kilos a week weight gain. It's as simple as that. Now, there's a few ways that you could go around your bulk. Training should be exactly the same as when you was cutting. That doesn't change. The only thing that changes is after you have dieted down and you're lean and you want to start bulking, have an honest assessment of your physique and see where parts need more attention. Then you give them parts more attention. You will train, let's say it's your chest, that's the weak area. You will train your chest twice a week, everything else once. And if you do that for a prolonged period of time, 6 to 9 months or longer, your chest will definitely catch up without a shadow of a doubt. And that applies to every body part that needs attention. Now, if you're fairly well balanced, then that's fine. You don't need to change too much. If you want to develop one specific body part because that's what you want to do, you can give that attention. You can do that twice a week as well. You can make fantastic gains by only training once a week on a certain body part. People keep asking, what's the perfect split? How do I get big? How do I do this? How do I do that? The number one thing you have to do is be consistent. Be consistent with your food. You can't miss a beat. You can't miss a meal. You have to eat everything each day. Number 2, you have to be consistent with training. You have to train fucking hard every session. Every fucking session to failure on every single set. If you do those 2 things consistently well for a prolonged period of time, your body has to adjust. It has to find a way to survive. And that is by growing muscle so it can keep with the heavy loads that you're putting it under. The more stress you put the body under, the more it has to adapt, the more it has to grow. So if you can be consistent with food, consistent with training, consistent with watching the scales go up 0.25 to 0.5 kilos a week, then you will be growing perfectly well without gaining too much body fat. I would keep cardio in all year round, although you don't need to do as much cardio or as many steps per day than you do when you are cutting. You want to keep it down, slowly taper that down, so you're doing 20 minutes 4 times a week cardio. And I mean cardio when you're in the fat burning zone for that duration of each cardio session. And bring your steps right down. If your aim is 15,000 steps when you are peak dieting, you want to slowly bring it down to 8K when you're peak off season. So that way, when you do start cutting again, you can ramp the steps up, wrap the cardio up. You don't really need to change food too much to start with, because the output's higher. Body fat should start dropping down, and then we can start playing with the food. Speaking of food, again, it has to be meals that you enjoy. It has to be meals that you can digest well. It has to be meals that you can just pick up and go, because sometimes bulking is a chore. Sometimes it can get difficult. Your appetite isn't always there. And that's because, again, you're eating in a calorie surplus. It is the hardest part of this fitness journey that we all are on. Bulking is the hardest part because the eating is the hardest part. There's going to be times where you just don't want to eat, but you have to. You have to, or you'll stay the same. And what's the point of committing to something if you just want to stay the same? With my clients, they have a set meal plan, of course, but they do have 2 off-plan meals a week. Typically speaking, midweek, whether it be Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, it has to be on a training day. That's the only caveat. They have something off-plan, but it's home-cooked. Something that is not on their meal plan, but it's something that is quite hearty and something they can have maybe with the family, or the missus can cook for you, or you want to cook for the missus. So if you wanted to make steak and chips, for example, because that's not on your plan, go for it. If you want to make fajitas, because it's not on your plan, go for it. Enchiladas, spaghetti bolognese, you get the idea. Something clean, easy, lovely. That's perfect. On the weekends, I get my clients to train legs on a Saturday. Then if you're bulking and you finish your leg session on a Saturday, eat what the fuck you want. Have anything. Anything. You want a large pizza on a couple of sides? Go for it. You want to go and spend 50 quid at McDonald's? Go for it. Do what you want. Have what you want. It's not a problem. Because the work you'll be putting in from Sunday through to check-in on the next Saturday means that your body weight will stay in that golden 0.25 to 0.5 kilo a week weight gain. You just will. And if it hasn't, you've been such a greedy cunt that you don't actually understand that the food there is a way for you to switch off for the rest of the weekends. It's a way for you to maybe include the family in what you're doing, or save it for a special occasion when you do go out. It's a chance for you to just be a normal person. There's been many times where I've finished a leg session, got a large Domino's pizza, ordered as I'm driving home, and demolished it even before I've had a chance to have a shower. My legs grew like a motherfucker. And I think Domino's is the reason for that. So much so, in fact, that when Steph moves in, she said that she wants to start focusing on her lower body. She wants to join a gym. She doesn't weight train, but she does run and she does do karate. So she wants to develop some strength in her lower body. And she was a little bit apprehensive about going to a bodybuilder's gym, my gym. So I said, yeah, no, we could definitely go together. I don't expect you to join me for my leg session because my leg session is brutal and you want to focus on different parts compared to me. But we can be in a gym together. I can help you. I can guide you through your exercises. That's not a problem. She was still umming and ahhing about it. And I said, and we can have Domino's every single Saturday afterwards if you weight train. She's in. She's sold. We're going to do it. So she's very happy. Because that girl fucking loves pizza, man. More than I do. And that says a lot. Anyway, I digress. When it comes to bulking, like I say, remember these key points. 1, commit to a long time. It takes longer than you think to grow muscle. 2, consistency is king. Be consistent with your food. Be consistent with your training. You cannot miss a meal. You cannot have a shit session. And number 3, enjoy the food. Enjoy the food, because you'll be dieting again at some point and you'll be missing the food. You'll be missing having the cookies on the weekend. You'll be missing having the home cooked shepherd's pie when you get in on a Wednesday. You'll miss it because you won't be allowed to have it. And if you go over the top with the food during your bulk, you won't be allowed to have those things for even longer because you'll be dieting for longer than necessary. 0.25 to 0.5 kilos a week is all you want to be gaining from the start of your bulk every single week. You do that, and you train hard, and you eat well, and you don't miss a meal, and you do it for a long time, promise you, you will see significant growth. If you found this video helpful and you want to see more of my stuff, I've got my Instagram in the description. And again, I recommend that you watch the YouTube video that's in the description to help you really master your training. Because if you can do that, you will grow like a motherfucker.